Hi, welcome. Enjoy the content, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Gabriel Murphy adjusted his tool belt one last time before stepping out the door. The familiar weight of wrenches and pliers had accompanied him for years, like a second skin he put on every time he started a shift. The smell of freshly brewed coffee still lingered in the kitchen, mingling with the floral perfume Jennifer always wore, something French and expensive that she insisted on buying even though he'd told her any perfume would smell great on her. She was in the living room, checking something on her laptop, the bluish glow of the screen lighting up her focused face. Probably reviewing the final details of some corporate event she'd be coordinating the following week. Jennifer was meticulous about her work, she always had been. It was one of the things Gabriel had admired about her ever since they'd met at a mutual friend's barbecue, with her complaining that the host hadn't planned enough food and him laughing at how seriously she treated something so trivial. When Gabriel came over to say goodbye, she quickly closed the laptop screen, a movement so fast her hands nearly slipped off the touchpad, and smiled. That smile he'd known for 6 years of marriage. Or thought he'd known. Lately, there was something about that smile that didn't reach her eyes. A barely perceptible tension at the corners of her mouth, as if she were performing rather than feeling. Another long night ahead? Jennifer asked, standing up to kiss him. She had to stretch slightly onto her tiptoes, their height difference had always been there, and Gabriel had always found it endearing. The kiss was quick, mechanical, lips touching for less than 2 seconds before she pulled away. Just like it had been for the past few weeks. Maybe months. Gabriel wasn't sure exactly when their goodbyes had lost the intensity of their early years, when she'd grab him by the collar of his shirt and pull him in for one more kiss, and then another, until he was running late and laughing against her mouth. Preventive maintenance at the refinery. Might be past midnight by the time I get back, Gabriel replied, picking up the lunchbox she'd prepared, chicken with vegetables, as always on Tuesdays. Will you be up late working? I'll probably go to bed early. I'm exhausted. Jennifer yawned, and Gabriel noticed she was wearing makeup. Light, but definitely there. Odd for someone planning to go to bed early, but he brushed the thought aside. She'd always liked to look presentable. Then get some rest. Good night, love. Gabriel kissed her forehead and left, hearing the door lock behind him. The shift at the refinery started normally. Gabriel and his crew split up among the distillation towers, checking valves, sensors, and pressure systems. The work was methodical and required total concentration. Around 10:30, his supervisor Bill showed up with unexpected news. Murphy, you guys can head out. The automated system flagged an inconsistency. We need to shut everything down and do a full inspection. Only the security team and 2 engineers will be needed. Gabriel blinked, confused. Seriously? We haven't even finished half the checklist yet. Orders from upstairs. You'll still get paid for the full shift. Call it a lucky night. Bill clapped him on the shoulder and walked off, already shouting instructions to other crews. In the locker room, as he stowed his protective gear, Gabriel felt a wave of relief. Maybe he'd make it home before midnight. He could lie down next to Jennifer, maybe watch something together if she was still awake. Driving along the empty highway, Gabriel turned the radio on low. An old song played, something they used to dance to together. He smiled at the memory of Jennifer in that blue dress, barefoot on the living room rug of the apartment they'd shared before getting married. When had those laughs stopped? When had their shared dinners turned into solitary meals? He pulled into the garage at 11:15. The house was completely dark. Strange, Jennifer usually left the porch light on when he was coming home late. Gabriel entered through the kitchen and disarmed the alarm. Total silence. He turned on the light and looked around. Everything was too tidy. The sink was empty, not even a coffee cup. Jennifer's laptop was gone. The sofa cushions were perfectly aligned, with no trace of anyone having sat there. He walked upstairs slowly, trying not to make noise, but each step creaked under his weight, the same stairs they'd climbed together on moving day, laughing when they nearly dropped the bed frame around the hallway corner. The bedroom was dark. He flipped on the hallway light and peered inside. The bed was made. Not just made, but immaculate, covers stretched taut, pillows symmetrically arranged, edges perfectly aligned as if someone had used a ruler. Like a five-star hotel. Like no one had even touched it all night. Gabriel's stomach tightened. Something cold and visceral settled in his chest, spreading through his ribs like ice. Jennifer never made the bed with that level of perfection. She was the type who'd just pull the comforter over crumpled sheets and call that tidy. They joked about it every week. He'd make the bed properly on weekends, and she'd undo it in 5 minutes while digging for her phone between the pillows. And if she'd gone to sleep early like she'd said, the bed would have been messy, with her curled up in the comforter the way she liked, one foot sticking out because she always complained about the heat. But it was empty. Untouched. Staged. Gabriel took 2 steps into the room, noticing details that now screamed at him. Her robe wasn't on its hook. Her phone charger was unplugged. The water bottle she always kept on the nightstand, gone. These weren't things someone would take for a night's sleep. They were things someone took when leaving, planning to spend the night elsewhere. He pulled his phone from his pocket with hands that were starting to tremble. Checked his messages. Nothing new since the text she'd sent at 7 that evening. Good luck on your shift, love. I'm dead tired, going to bed soon. Love you. Love you. 2 words that suddenly sounded hollow, automated, like a chatbot programmed to say the right thing at the right time. He called her. It went straight to voicemail. Tried again. Same result. His heart beat faster. Where was she? Why was her phone off? Then he remembered the location-sharing app they'd installed 2 years ago, more for convenience than suspicion. Useful for knowing when one would get home, coordinating errands. Gabriel had never used it to check where Jennifer was without asking. He opened the app with shaking hands. Her blue dot blinked at an address 15 minutes away. 847 Oakmont Street. He didn't know anyone there. It was an apartment complex. A chill ran down his spine. There had to be an explanation. Maybe a last-minute event. Maybe a friend needed help. Maybe. He ran back downstairs and got in the car. He drove on autopilot, fingers gripping the steering wheel. One voice in his head tried to calm him, "You're being ridiculous. Trust her. 6 years of marriage. She's never given you a reason to doubt her." But another, darker voice whispered, "The perfectly made bed. The mechanical kiss. The cold goodbyes. You knew. You always knew." The apartment complex looked exactly like it did online, modern, glass facade, soft lighting in common areas. Gabriel parked and checked the app again. Jennifer was still there. Building B, probably on the 2nd or 3rd floor. He walked to the front desk. A young security guard looked up from a sci-fi novel, a bookmark still between his fingers. "Good evening. Can I help you?" Gabriel improvised, trying to sound casual. "I'm looking for a friend's apartment." "Colin Chen. Does he live here?" The guard checked the computer, clicking a few times. "Apartment 2B. Want me to call and let him know you're here?" "No need. It's a surprise." Gabriel forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Colin Chen. The name hit him like a punch to the gut. Jennifer had mentioned a Colin from work once in a while. That annoying guy who won't stop talking about road races, she'd said with that irritated tone. Always trying to get everyone to join his events. Gabriel had never paid attention, never thought to ask more. Just another annoying coworker among many. He took the stairs, refusing the elevator. He needed the steps, the physical effort to process what he was about to do. The second-floor hallway was quiet, beige carpet muffling his footsteps. Apartment 2B was midway down the hall, a gold number on the white door. Light leaked from under the door, and faint music played inside. Gabriel stopped in front of it, took a deep breath, and tried to steady the adrenaline flooding his veins. From inside came a laugh. Jennifer's laugh. The genuine, spontaneous, musical laugh he hadn't heard in months. Maybe years. The same laugh from those days when they danced in their tiny apartment, when she'd laugh because he stepped on her foot and he'd say she loved him anyway. Something inside him broke. It wasn't anger. It wasn't sadness. It was clarity. A cold, sharp clarity that erased any lingering doubt. He knocked on the door. 3 firm, deliberate knocks, evenly spaced. Silence on the other side, so sudden Gabriel could picture them freezing mid-act. Seconds that felt like minutes. Then hesitant footsteps approached. The door opened a crack, maybe 15 centimeters, and an Asian man with short hair and an unbuttoned dress shirt, 2 buttons undone, appeared. His confused expression quickly turned to alarm when he saw Gabriel standing there in his refinery uniform, probably still smelling of diesel oil. "You must be Colin," Gabriel said, his voice surprisingly calm. Almost polite. As if he were commenting on the weather. "I'm Gabriel. The husband. The spouse. The guy who signs the bills at the house where my wife was supposed to be sleeping tonight." Colin visibly paled, the color draining from his face so fast Gabriel almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "Look, this isn't, we can call her out here." Gabriel pushed the door firmly, not violently, but with clear intent, enough force to show he wasn't making a request. Jennifer appeared behind Colin, emerging from what must have been the bedroom, and Gabriel felt as if he were looking at a stranger. Worse, at a version of her he'd never known, one who might have always existed parallel to the woman he shared a bed with. She was barefoot, toenails painted dark red. When had she done her nails? Not at home, he would have noticed. She wore a dress he'd never seen before, something light and floral that moved as she walked, the kind of outfit that required planning, not something you just throw on. Impeccable makeup, not just lipstick and mascara, but full face, foundation, contour, the whole routine that took 40 minutes. Her hair fell in careful waves over her shoulders, the way she only styled it for special occasions. For him, lately, she barely combed it, just tied it in a tight ponytail before work and that was it. "Gabriel," her voice came out thin, high-pitched, almost childish. "What are you, your shift ended early." He stepped inside the apartment, deliberately scanning the room, cataloging every detail. Small but well decorated. Modern furniture, probably from IKEA. Half-empty wine bottle on the coffee table, an Argentine Malbec, he could read the label from where he stood, the same kind they used to drink on birthdays. 2 crystal glasses, one with a lipstick stain. Soft jazz played from a Bluetooth speaker, something instrumental and smooth. Candles. There were lit candles on the bookshelf. The whole mood had been set. How long had she spent arranging this scene? "How convenient that I came home early, huh?" Gabriel continued, his voice still eerily calm, nothing like what he felt inside. "I found the bed so neatly made. You really outdid yourself. A 5-star hotel couldn't have done better. Corners tucked in and everything. Professional." "Let me explain." Jennifer took a step toward him, hands out, and Gabriel noticed she was trembling. "Explain?" Gabriel laughed, a dry, humorless sound that scraped his throat. "You lied and said you were going to bed early. Sent a text at 7 saying you were dead tired. With the quotes, I almost believed you. And now here you are, in this apartment, wearing a dress I've never seen, drinking wine, with candles lit, with Colin, right? The annoying guy who only talks about running? The same Colin you always described as irritating?" Guess you don't find him so annoying after all. Colin stepped forward, trying to regain composure. Dude, look, this is between you two. No, Gabriel turned to him, and something in his eyes made Colin step back. This involves you too. You knew she was married. Gabriel, please, Jennifer tried to approach, but he raised his hand. How long? What? How long? Jennifer looked down, her hands now crossed protectively over her chest. When she finally answered, her voice was low, barely audible. 8 months. Gabriel felt the air rush out of his lungs, as if someone had slammed a fist into his stomach. 8 months. Not weeks. Not a one-night mistake. 8 full months. 2/3 of a year. Roughly 240 days. While he worked night shifts, fingers stained with grease, body aching from climbing metal stairs, coming home exhausted to that empty house believing she was asleep in their bedroom, while he saved part of his paycheck every month thinking about buying her that car she wanted, while he turned down beers with coworkers after shifts because he wanted to get home quickly. 8 months of lies. 8 months of false kisses at the door. 8 months of hollow, I love yous. 8 months of him being a complete fool. The night shifts, he said, realization hitting like a cold wave, starting in his head and rushing down his spine. You were always so understanding about my night shifts. Never complained when I took overtime. In fact, you even encouraged me. Take it, love, the extra money will help, you'd say. Now I get why. It was perfect for you, wasn't it? Fit like a glove. I'd leave at 7, you'd wait half an hour to make sure I wasn't coming back, fix your hair, put on that nice dress, and come here. Empty house, gullible husband who trusted you completely, who'd never suspect a thing because, after all, we were happy, right? We were a solid couple. It wasn't like that. Jennifer had tears in her eyes, but Gabriel felt no pity. Then how was it? Explain it to me. Help me understand. I was going to tell you. I was going to ask for a divorce next week. Gabriel blinked. Divorce. Yes. I'd already consulted a lawyer. Had everything planned. So why didn't you say something sooner? Jennifer didn't answer right away. Colin shifted uncomfortably in the corner. Because, she finally said, voice low, I wanted to enjoy it a little longer. Before everything got complicated. I just wanted a few more weeks. The coldness of those words struck him like a slap. She'd calculated everything, even how much longer she'd stay married while keeping the affair going. You're unbelievable, Gabriel murmured. 6 years of marriage, and you were calm enough to lie every single night. I didn't want to hurt you. You didn't want the inconvenience. That's different. You wanted the security of having a husband at home, someone paying the bills, while you had your fun here. Hey! Colin protested. How romantic. Tell her, Colin. Once the novelty wears off, do you really think she won't do the same to you? Colin fell silent, and Jennifer looked hurt. I love him, she said. It's not just an affair. I really love him. And yes, I should have told you sooner. But you were always working, and we stopped connecting a long time ago. You know that. So it's my fault? Because I work to support our home? It's not about blame. But it's not all on me either. Relationships take two. No, Gabriel cut her off. Don't try to pin this on me. Betrayal is a choice. You chose it. If you were unhappy, you should have spoken up. Asked for a divorce before. Heavy silence filled the apartment. Jennifer wiped her tears, composing herself. So what are you going to do now? She asked, pulling herself together. Yell some more? Gabriel looked at her, really looked, and realized he no longer knew this person. No, he said calmly. I'll give you exactly what you want. A divorce. But not on your terms. Tomorrow I'll call my lawyer. You want out? Go ahead. But you're not taking anything except your clothes. The house is in my name. It's my father's inheritance. Jennifer paled. Gabriel, wait. No. You had 8 months. Now live with the consequences. He turned to Colin. Hope the apartment's big enough for 2. He left the apartment without looking back, ignoring Jennifer calling his name. He hurried down the stairs, the cold night air hitting his face. He sat in the car for a long time, hands on the wheel, processing everything. 8 months. But alongside the pain, there was something else. Relief. Strange and unsettling, but undeniable. Relief at no longer being in the dark, at no longer having to trust someone who didn't deserve it. He started the car and drove home, to the house that was now his alone. In the days that followed, Gabriel acted with a mechanical efficiency that even surprised him. It was as if one part of his brain had taken over, the logical, practical part that knew exactly what to do when a system failed and needed to be dismantled and rebuilt. He hired a lawyer first thing Monday morning, Andrew Chen, recommended by a coworker who'd gone through a divorce 2 years earlier. Andrew was straightforward, no nonsense. With 8 months of documented affair and the house in your name through inheritance, you're in a strong position, he said during their consultation. She might try to fight it, but frankly, I wouldn't recommend it. He changed the locks on Tuesday. Called a locksmith who arrived at 9 in the morning. The man did the job in 40 minutes, 3 new locks. When Jennifer tried to come in on Wednesday night, she found the door locked and a message from Gabriel, schedule an appointment with my lawyer. On Thursday, she showed up with Colin waiting in the car outside. The tension was thick. She came in, went straight to the bedroom. She packed her clothes into 2 large suitcases. Some books, personal items, her family photo frames, her mother's jewelry, the essential oil diffuser. She left everything they'd built together. The keys, Gabriel said as she was about to leave. Jennifer stopped. She took the key ring, removed the house keys, and placed them on the side table. She didn't look at him. She walked out, dragging the suitcases to the car. The divorce process was surprisingly fast by American standards. No kids, no significant shared assets, the house was in Gabriel's name through paternal inheritance, her car was financed under her name, and bank accounts had already been separated in the first week. Jennifer didn't fight for the house or much money. Andrew explained it was probably out of guilt, or maybe because Colin, a systems analyst, earned well enough that she simply didn't need it. Some divorces are wars, Andrew said during one meeting. Others are surrenders. This one's a surrender. The paperwork was signed, filed, processed. In less than 3 months, it was done. 6 years of marriage undone in 90 days of bureaucracy. Gabriel threw himself into work. He took on more shifts, dove into complex maintenance projects that demanded total focus. His co-workers noticed the change, he was quieter, more focused, arriving early and leaving late, but they didn't ask questions. There was an unspoken code among men who worked with their hands: when someone was processing something, you let them process it. Bill, his supervisor, simply clapped him on the shoulder one day during shift change and said, "It'll pass, Murphy. Always does." I know. Weeks turned into months. Gabriel sold furniture that held too many memories, bought new pieces that were just his. He repainted the living room from beige to dark gray. He turned Jennifer's old office into a space for his hobbies, woodworking, something he'd always wanted time for. He started running in the mornings before work, discovering the rhythm of his feet on pavement calmed his mind like nothing else could. It was on a rainy Saturday, 9 months after that night at Colin's apartment, that Gabriel saw Jennifer again. He was at a cafe downtown, sipping a double espresso and reading the local paper, when she walked in. Alone. Hair shorter, cut into a long bob that didn't suit her face shape. Different clothes, more muted, dark jeans and a gray sweater, none of the bright colors she used to wear. But still her. Still the woman he'd loved, or thought he'd loved, or truly loved before discovering who she really was. Their eyes met over his coffee cup, and for a moment neither moved. Then something passed across her face, recognition, hesitation, something like shame. She approached slowly, taking short, uncertain steps. "Hi." "Hi," Gabriel replied, keeping his tone neutral, no hostility, but no warmth either. Can I sit? Just for a minute?" He hesitated, then gestured to the empty chair across from him. Jennifer sat, her hands fidgeting nervously around her purse, fingers drumming on the faux leather. "How are you?" she asked, her voice tentative. "Good. Working. Living." He closed the newspaper. "And you?" She paused. "Colin and I broke up. 2 months ago." Gabriel felt no satisfaction. He just watched silently. "It was my fault," she continued. "He said he couldn't trust me. Kept wondering if I'd do to him what I did to you." She gave a bitter laugh. "Just like you said that night." "Jennifer, why are you telling me this?" She finally looked him in the eyes. "Because I ruined everything. I had a marriage, I had you, someone who truly loved me, and I threw it away for excitement. For novelty. Now I have nothing." Gabriel took a sip of his coffee. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know it doesn't change anything, but I needed you to know." "I accept your apology," Gabriel said calmly. "But it doesn't change what happened. And honestly, Jen, I'm okay. It took time, but I'm okay. You did me a favor. Showed me who you really were before things got even more complicated." Jennifer nodded, tears forming. "Have you met someone?" "No. And I'm not looking. I'm focusing on myself." He stood up. "Take care of yourself, Jennifer. For real." He left the cafe without looking back, light rain dampening his face. And as he walked to his car, Gabriel realized he was smiling, not out of malice, but from genuine peace. The night that should never have ended early had, in fact, been the beginning of something new. Something honest. Something entirely his own. And for the first time in a long while, that was enough. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss any updates. See you next time.